Well, we're here at the CCA workbench, and you know, it's so awesome to have you in the studio, Chad. The Lower Coast guy is here from the Garmin region, but you know what? We got some rigs and techniques to talk about. It's right in your wheelhouse.
We're talking about kingfish. He fishes offshore a lot, thank goodness. And we're going to talk a little bit about how he goes about catching kingfish where he lives. You know, kingfish, they're a mackerel fish, and they get pretty big and they have razor sharp teeth. So first off, whenever you're going to be using fishing for kingfish, we're going to be using wire. Correct?
Correct. Yeah. If not, you're
going to be losing all your stuff.
Yeah, don't use your mono. You'll lose it all.
Correct. So what size wire do you use, like where you guys fish?
Primarily, we use number 8 and number 9 wire.
So you're targeting some pretty good sized fish
Some
most of the time?
big kingfish, yeah. We're up in the 20 to 45, 50 pound range.
I got you. And what's your favorite bait to use when you're using
Favorite bait down there, if you get it, we got our own boats, we run and stuff like that, but fresh ribbon fish is hard to beat right down there.
That's what all the tournament boys use too,
yeah,
isn't it?
that's some good stuff.
You've won a few tournaments with that ribbon fish rig,
yes, I have quite a few.
Now that's a kind of an example of one right there that Rick's got. It's pretty much a gang of trebles that you run down the back of the ribbon fish, correct?
Yeah, correct. The key thing is when you bait those fish like that, pin them on the nose and the middle and the back to make sure they're straight. Lay them flat on your boat or your cleaning table to make sure they're going to float properly.
Right. And how do you fish those baits?
Those baits on that, you can do a couple things. If you anchor up, guys, and you're in your favorite structure, go ahead and free line one way out there or get a spinning reel, cast as far as you can. And I also like putting a balloon and maybe 15 foot down, have your bait, float that out. And if you want to get a little extra fancy, put your outrigger out and throw a third one way back on a balloon.
On a balloon as well?
Correct, yes.
And are you moving the boat slowly, bumping it into gear?
On that stuff,
you're anchored, but are you letting line out, lining
Yeah,
it?
free line the whole way, have your thumb on it, so that way when they hit, they're going to hit fast. And you got to get ready and don't burn your thumb, but just barely move it up to strike, and that'll set the hook for you.
I gotcha. And are you use treble hooks on them all, or are you?
You can use trebles. Lots of times I use some single hooks, a lot sturdier, get a high tensile strength.
Right.
They don't pull the hooks, and keep the drag a little bit lighter. That way they get hooked in the side and all over. That way you won't pull the hooks on them as bad.
Right. Have you now here when I'm trolling, when I'm using a big bait trolling it, I use a stinger rig. Do you guys ever use that? A small section of wire with a little treble hook on the back?
A lot of guys sure do.
Like one of these?
Yeah, it's very, very effective. You can go through the back of that. That way if they miss the actual bait on the back, you got an extra hook to come up and get them.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's this rig all about, Dave?
Well, that's kind of like the same sort of thing. That's a ribbon fish rig with, for a big ribbon fish or a big bait. You can even put a big blue runner on that sort of thing. And because the mackerel likes to come and take fish from the back, they'll usually try to take the tail off. It's good to have all those hooks, trailing down the back of the bait.
So this is what it's going to look like this.
Correct. It'll be all stretched out. You'll have the ribbon fishes under his chin right here, or the bait under his chin.
Do you like using one with a weight so that it helps weight him and he floats down a little?
Higher current, yeah.
Yeah.
If you start using that with a little higher current, then do that.
That's pretty smart. How'd you get so smart?
And you can also, you can also troll diving plugs and spoons, and on a downrigger. The drone spoon is probably one of my favorite baits. So here's one right here, a number 3 drone spoon. When I use anything that's flashing back there, that's 20, 30 feet underneath the water, moving kind of, not incredibly fast, but sort of fast, you can get all kinds of bites on that thing. And for one thing, another good thing about it, it's got a single hook on it. So if you're catching a lot of little ones and you're wanting to go through them and only keep the bigger ones, you don't really tear up the king mackerel all that much. You can, if you're using treble hooks and letting fish go, you might as well just go ahead and kill them because you've tore a lot of them up. I know I have.
Chad,
trying to let them go.
Do you troll many mirror lures like this one?
Oh yeah, sure. I've got a bunch of them that have so many teeth marks and they hold up really, really well. But these things, we're talking about trolling speeds and stuff like that. When you're targeting kingfish, I like hitting these things at about 5.5, maybe 6 knots.
Right.
And if you're looking for the best conditions, look for full sun, not overcast, and everything else like that. You get the full shine out there, get the shiny stuff going, and get ready.
Yep. I like to use sea witches and stuff. This is called the island witch, but I use a sea witch on top of ballyhoos, anything to add a little bit of color. And a lot of guys will say that the baits have to be down a little ways. I've caught a ton of kingfish right on the surface, trolling big surface baits, and how we target the biggest fish is we try to catch, if we get on a wreck or something, we'll catch whatever's down there and put it on and fish it on a live line, on a flat line, and just festoon him the same way he does with a dead ribbon fish. We'll do the same thing with a live little snapper or a grunt or anything that we catch off the bottom, a hardtail,
yeah.
Any big live bait, especially during the summertime, reeling close to shore, around the inlets and stuff, when there's pogey pods or schools of bait in there, you put those big live baits out there on a flat line and they get creamed by big kingfish. Big kingfish like big live baits.
You guys did well. Maybe this should be a permanent position for you.
It's a long way away.
So, Chad, certainly the Lower Coast region, the Garmin Lower Coast region is what you represent us every week. So why don't we talk a little bit about what's going on in the Lower Coast region? You got some special news for us.
Yeah, I got some great news. Port Mansfield, Willacy County Navigation District, we've been working on this for years, but we finally got it to where the dredges there from the Y all the way into the harbor's already done. It was silted in, so we're down to about 14 foot deep right now. And the project's going to finish up throughout the year, all the way through the jetties, which is silted in, of course, right now, but that'll be done by the end of 2019 this year. So it's going to start in September, so we're going to have 22 foot depth at the jetties, all the way through to the harbor, which is going to immensely help our water flow, of course, which will bring in more bait fish, which brings in more fish to produce.
How deep is it now?
Right now at the jetties, you really got to watch out. If you guys go right now, call me. I'll tell you how to get there. So right now we're at 2-3 feet in the center. Oh. And we got about 8 foot, and we got a little river that goes through there.
That's a ton of difference.
It's a big difference. So we're going to have all that tidal flow coming out, which will leave all my region. It'll help Baffin Bay. It'll help Port Mansfield. It'll help South Padre Island. Not to mention, it'll help all the big boat traffic can come back in and get out safely.
All right. Well, we got to get into your report. So